All right. All glories to Mother Atasha. All glories to the religion of love. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to our Supreme Lord. O Lord God, please help us live out these teachings, be an example of love in the world. Jai. Okay. We're going to be finishing the Sin book today. Exciting. And maybe starting on the book Desire. Let's see. And we, searching our actions, minds, and motives, took shelter in our God brothers and sisters, and together vowed to continue our pilgrimage back home, back to God. And many were the trials, and many the triumphs we would face. Some have I heard tell of, and some I did attend on myself. This one I remember, for I was there. It was of a man with many followers, who came with much malice to the Holy Mother, and challenged her thus, Who are you, and to what faith do you hold? Tell us then the name of your religion and the name of your God, or we will attack and drive you from this place. And some of the disciples and myself moved forward to protect her, lest harm should come to her. But she raised her hand and stopped us, and then she spoke, calmly and patiently, as she had done so many times before. And she said to the man and his followers, who came forward to hear, You ask of us a name, because you live in a world of names. You think that if you call yourself something, that will make it true. So you say, I am a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Buddhist, or Jew. But it is only a name to you. It is on your tongue, but it does not touch your heart. For if it was in your heart, you would not come among us with hate, but with love. For you, religion is a name without a reality. And now you wish to put a name on us. But I will not give you a name, for you will build a wall of us and them around us. Then was she silent, and her silence angered the man and his followers. And he, speaking roughly to her, said, That is not an answer. To which she calmly replied, Every question does not deserve an answer. And then, relenting, she did answer, as if she wanted him and the others for all to understand. And stretching out her arms as if to embrace the whole world, she said, A name I will not give you, but I will tell you who we are by what we do. And the people came forward as if to be enfolded, and gathered round to hear. And this is what she said. We are the servants of God. We are Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, and Jew. We are of all races and religions, created by God, all nations, man and woman equally. We are everyone. We are you. Then was she gone into the dark night, but we were left the light. So of some of the beginning times have I, Rajak Khan, written. Still more must I tell. Jai. All right. And we, searching our actions, minds, and motives, took shelter in our God brothers and sisters, and together vowed to continue our pilgrimage back home, back to God. And many were the trials, and many the triumphs we would face. Some have I heard tell of, and some I did attend on myself. This one I remember, for I was there. It was of a man with many followers who came with much malice to the Holy Mother, and challenged her thus. Yeah, this happens sometimes. Mother Atasha would be faced with people like this, very angry, very confronting, very challenging, not coming to hear any knowledge, not coming in any submissive mood or a mood of reverence or love, but one of anger, hate, ignorance, closed-mindedness, in the name of religion, in the name of God. And he challenged us, "Who are you, and to what faith do you hold? Tell us then the name of your religion and the name of your God, or we will attack and drive you from this place." And some of the disciples and myself moved forward to protect her, lest harm should come to her. But she raised her hand and stopped us, and then she spoke calmly and patiently, as she had done so many times before. So she's not reacting to his anger. She's not coming to his level. She's just speaking out of love, out of truth. And she said to the man and his followers who came forward to hear, "You ask of us a name because you live in a world of names. You think if you call yourself something, that will make it true." Practical example. Kids playing cops and robbers, right? We're the good guys, you're the bad guys. They act it out. Well, the children aren't actually police officers and criminals. They're just children. They're calling themselves that. So just because they call them now, they actually officers, they're actually burglars. No, it's just a name. It's not real. It's just a name. So same with religion. So you call yourself. You say, "I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim, I am a Christian, a Buddhist, or a Jew." So what? You can call yourself anything. You can say, "I am the King of France." But no one's going to believe me unless I actually have the qualifications that I am the King of France, for example. So what are the qualifications? How does one actually become a Christian, a Buddhist, a Hindu, Muslim, a Jew? What are the actual qualities of an actual devotee of God, of any of these faiths? Not just a name. Not just because you call yourself something, that doesn't make it true. Doesn't make it that who you are. It is only a name to you, she says. It is on your tongue, but it does not touch your heart. For if it was in your heart, you would not come among us with hate, but with love. And it says elsewhere in the Religion of Love book that they would have enough religion to make them hate, but not enough religion to make them love. Not enough. For them, it's just on the surface. As she says, "For you, religion is a name without a reality." Not a reality. Like the actual tenets and teachings of the great messengers of God, expounded through the great scriptures, holy books, revealed by God, they are not realized within the heart of these people. Verily, I doubt they're very much even practicing them. In fact, very few people who come among others with such hate, such malice, such violence, actually practice their religion. And that's what we've seen. Mother Atasha, she shared with us in her many travels, she said most of the time when people come with so much anger in their heart, so much violence, trying to force people to convert or trying to kill people different, they're always the people that don't practice it. And honestly, if you look at the lives of these great saints, you look at the life of Jesus, the life of Prophet Muhammad, look at the life of these great prophets in the Old Testament, the life of Buddha. Oh my gosh, so loving, so tolerant, so accepting, so open. None of the worldly nonsense we see today, this world of names. You wish to put a name on us, but I will not give you a name. For you will build a wall of us and them around us. Us and them. That's what it's all about. They are worldly men in worldly consciousness, thinking in a worldly way, because their consciousness is still on the bodily conception of life. They are not realized souls, liberated souls who know from actual reality, actual experience, that they are eternal servants of God, the beloved lovers of God, that they're not this body. No, they're very much on the bodily plane. They see the body as the self. And worse than that, they see the differences of our bodies to be reasons to make divisions, to separate brother from brother. Even though all religions preach brotherhood, even though all the prophets, messengers of God, say that we are all one family under God, we're all God's children, we're all eternal spirit souls, constitutionally positioned as His eternal servants. Even though, still, they're playing the politics of I and mine, you and them, us and this, and they always have worldly gain in mind, not spiritual goals. But I will not give you a name, she says. So she doesn't answer him, doesn't give him what he wants. And she went silent, and the silence angered the man and his followers. And he speaking roughly to her said, "That is not an answer." So he's getting pretty angry. And these are, dangerous people. How do we know about, we know so much about religious fanatics, right? People kill each other. People kill themselves, hoping to kill others in the name of God. Oh, it's very awful. I was just out of love, I was on top of this mountain, and I shouted, Allahu Akbar. I was chanting many names of God, but one of them was Allahu Akbar. My wife said, don't say that. People think you're terrorist. I'm like, oh, what a shame. We live in a day and age where I can't just say God is great in a specific language, because such awful, ignorant, wicked people will say such a thing right before they detonate a suicide vest. Isn't that awful? But this is not of God. This is not of religion. This is not loving. No. This is nonsense. And they do a great dishonor and injustice to all the great good and message that God has given before. It's quite awful. So he's angry. That's not an answer. To which he calmly replied, every question does not deserve an answer. Very bold. Now, we were reading the biography of a saint recently, an Indian saint, and in India he was speaking on a pandal, like a public program to the masses, and somehow or other, this Western hippie who looked all crazy somehow joins him on the stage and gets a mic and starts angrily demanding that the saintly master answer his questions. And he answered one question, the first one, and then he said, I have a question for you now. And the Western hippie guy was like, no, you must answer my questions. Da-da-da-da-da. And he was very defiant, very challenging. And that master too also says, no, I'm not going to answer your question. It's like Brother Touch. Not every question deserves an answer. And first off, if you remember from past class, we talked about the mood of ideal transference of spiritual knowledge. So one who approaches a saintly person, a holy person, with a mood of reverence and of service, and who hears submissively the message that they're giving, not in a challenging mood, but in a loving mood, a mood of surrender and service, then you'll actually be able to hear, and you might actually be blessed and benefited by some knowledge. But coming in the mood of this angry man or this other angry guy and his followers, they're not going to hear anything. Their heart's so covered over with their anger, with their arrogance, with their pride, that they're not going to hear. And a funny story is that eventually there was like a shouting match that happened on live on the stage with like 20,000 people watching. Everyone's like, what's going on? And the saintly person got angry. And people are like, oh, he got angry. And so some of the people left like, oh, he got angry. But this is righteous anger. And he said that, because he kept demanding, he said, I'm not your servant, I'm God's servant. And this is true. The spiritual master is the most confidential servant of God. But also they know that we are servants of the servants of God, and we take great humility not to think that, oh, I'm so great, I'm so holy, I answer only to God, not to you. No, we don't have that mentality. No. But this guy coming to Mother Natasha in the Religion of Love book, who claims to be a man of God in a group of theologians in name, however, by action, they're more like a group of thugs. Not theologians, thugs. because that's how they're actually acting. Anger, malice, anger and force and violence in the name of religion is a clear sign of a failed faith. Failed in your heart. You're missing the mark. Again, sin. Remember, missing the mark. These guys are totally missing the mark. They'll never enter the kingdom of God with such a mentality, with such a way of life, because they're not fully surrendering and submitting themselves in loving service. Not trying to learn. They think they already know it all. And they just want to divide, create walls of us and them for worldly reasons. And this is what religion has been degraded to all around the world. And this is why God is bringing into the world His pure, uncorrupt truth, the simplest form of His message, to break down those false barriers. And they are false. God did not create these barriers, man did. And Mother Atasha is His most devoted, confidential servant. Not most, well, I mean to say, she herself is so surrendered, completely 100% in the loving service of God and the service of the servants of God. So, and then relenting, she did answer as if she wanted him and others for all to answer. Yes, so Mother Atasha did answer the man, but the man's not going to hear. But oftentimes, messengers of God, spiritual masters, saintly persons, they'll speak not for the people right in front of them, but for everyone else who's around to hear, and for all times, all people, because everything that the spiritual master, the messengers of God speak, is for the benefit of all. And have we not witnessed that the teachings of Lord Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, all the great prophets before and saints, their teachings were for everybody. Their teachings were universal. For everyone they benefit. And so Mother Atasha is speaking for everyone. And she says, "A name I will not give, but I will tell who we are by what we do." By what we do. Not what we say we are, not what we say we do, but what do we actually do? What are we practicing? I say the expression, practice what you preach. Well, what are you preaching and what are you practicing? Or as we say on the streets, we don't just talk the talk, but we walk the walk. So what is the manner in which we walk upon the path made straight? And of course, a spiritual master, devotees of God, we live out these teachings by word and by deed. We walk what we talk. And she says, we are the servants of God. So in great humility, she's not just saying, we are servants of God, which there's many people who say that in religion. Say, I am a servant of God. We are servants of God, right? A little puffed up. And they may be, I don't know. I can't say. Only God knows the heart of another man. But it's very difficult if you aren't actually a fully surrendered, pure devotee of God to say such a thing and to act that in such a way, because just think very practically. Let's say I say that I am a servant of the king, but I've never met the king. In fact, I may be even doing my own thing saying this is what the king wants. The king said do this. The king said give me this land. The king said, listen to what I say. And if the king would actually catch him, he'd be like, hey, you thief, that's false representation. So we don't actually, in our conditioned state, we don't actually hear the voice of God within the heart. We don't. So how do we know what's actually pleasing to God? What is actually God's will? And how to actually live according to the desires of God? Just as, how does an actual confidential servant of the king serve the king? Well, he hears directly from the king. And the king will tell him, you're doing a good job, you're doing a bad job, you need to correct this, do that, right? Just like any supervisor in a job, to tell you how to serve them best. So the spiritual master, coming in disciplic succession, those pure, holy saints, they are servants of God. And they are whom we are all trying to serve. Yet, even though Mother Atasha is a servant of God, who is directly engaged in the service of God, getting instruction through the heart. By serving Mother Atasha, for example, or serving any of these great devotees, it is the same as serving God. Now, using the example of the king's servant, the king's servant, who is directly in touch with the king, who's getting, orders from the king, do this, do that. Well, if you help the mission of that servant of the king, whose only business is executing the will of the king and pleasing the king, just as a devotee's only business is to serve lovingly, to please God and execute his will in this world, not their own will. If you serve someone like that and help them in their work and their mission, then it's non-different than serving God. Because we don't know what to do, but this holy person does know what to do. So if I just help them out, serve them in all respects, in any capacity, it's non-different, because they are serving God, and so we are the servants of God. And Mother Atasha would always say in her humility that she was no pure devotee, that she was just a servant of her spiritual master, and a servant of all the spiritual masters that came before. So even for one who is a pure devotee of God, they still don't see themselves as such. They see themselves as most meek and humble and unqualified and unfit, and are just trying to serve the best they can. Not thinking so highly of themselves, but actually thinking very lowly of themselves. This humility, this gentleness, this meekness, these are some of the qualities of a real devotee of God. Qualities that are actually within all of us, that can be manifest if we but purify and cleanse all the things that keep us from experiencing them. And how do we do that? Well, we do by practicing and following as we are taught by those who are actually living it, who are actually doing it. So she says, we are the servants of God. We are Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, and Jew. We are of all races and religions created by God. So all religions. God doesn't see us... foot fell asleep. God doesn't see us as, there's the Christians, there's the Hindus, as different groups, as we see each other. See, God sees us all as his children. These divisions of faith don't exist in the spiritual world. They don't. They just exist here, and they're man-made, these divisions. There's no divisions in the spiritual world. In the eternal kingdom of God, everyone is a soul surrendered unto God in love. And everyone's relating to one another on this level, in this understanding, realized, experienced, that we are eternally the servants of God, the beloved lovers, the devotees, the spirit soul. And we're of all races. Again, the body may look different, maybe different shape, different color, different height, different gender. So what? It's just the body. It's not the real you. You're a man body now, you could have been a woman body before. You could have been a dog before. The body's not important. The body's inconsequential. It's just a tool for you to serve right now in this life. It's not the real you. The real you is the eternal you within, who powers and gives consciousness to this body. And all nations. So, yes, again, American, Indian, Canadian, Chinese, like these are all, again, divisions made by man. God did not make these borders, or develop these cultures so differently. That's fine. That we have so much differences, that's fine. Variety is the spice of life. It's not a big deal that we have lots of variety and diversity. But when those differences on the surface are seen as divisions, or as causes, or reasons as a cause for you to divide one another, well, that's just worldly ignorance. That's not spiritual at all. That's nothing God gave. That's worldly life, not spiritual life. And man and woman equally. Everyone eternally is a devotee of God. And everyone can be qualified as such if you but purify your illusions, the ignorance which keeps you from experiencing that. And of course, the first one is you try to Purify is that false bodily conception of life, which will go the more you hear, chant, remember, engage in spiritual practices. That will go. Eventually, you keep following on the path, keeps following in the footsteps of the pure devotees of God who are purified. And God is well pleased when we can please and serve His servants. Oh, in fact, it says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord says, serving my servants is more beneficial than serving me directly. I am most pleased when my servants are glorified and served. So we are everyone, we are you. This is the teaching. And this is what we practice and what we live. And you'll see that Mother Vitasha was very welcoming of all people. She didn't treat anyone differently. She treated all equally. Another sign of a devotee of God. Treating everyone equally, friend to all. Regardless of caste or creed or religion or gender, Mother Vitasha accepted anyone who wished to be of service, who wished to learn. Just like here, we're doing on the Religion of Love Discord server, all are welcome. We don't turn anyone away. Except we do have one nice advantage. When you do have these people who are very angry and can't hear and creating big disturbance, I can just mute them. Which may be a little naughty on my part. But some people create big disturbances and just want to cause trouble. And but we still give everyone a chance, even today. There was some person, I'm assuming a young person, wrote some very inappropriate, offensive, and nonsense things on the Religion of Love Online Center Discord server. I took it down, and I didn't just kick him, ban him from the server. I wrote him personally and said, hey, it's not the right time and place for such things, and I tried to engage in dialogue with him because I want everyone to hear this message. I don't want to turn everyone away. Or turn anyone away. And neither did Mother Vitasha. I'm just trying to serve Mother Vitasha, really. What would she do? She'd probably give them a chance. And we try. And that's like Mother Vitasha. She gave a chance to the man by saying, this is who we really are. This is how we really are. And if you can really hear this truth, you'll realize that there is no differences in the world. There are none. Only of our own making, only an illusion. But in true reality and actual eternal truth, we are all non-different from one another in terms of our actual position as eternal servants of God. I mean, that doesn't mean we're all the same, like we're all one. No, we're all conscious and individual. We're all unique lovers of God, and that love that we express and we relate with the Lord is unique. And that's cool. I dig that. You don't have to be the exact same. You don't have to all pray the exact same or, sing for the glories of God the exact same. No. We don't have to be all the same. We don't have to be alike to be in love. And that is the goal, that we all come to love. I heard that same saint, the one in India, with that guy, he said, that someone asked him, do you see any, he was, from Hindu backgrounds, and someone asked him, a reporter said, do you see some conflict between other religions, Christianity or Hindu, Muslim? And because he was a pure devotee of God, because he was a real spiritual master, he says, no, I don't see any conflict, because the goal of all is one. It is to know God and to try to love Him. Therefore I see no conflict. That is the heart of religion, to know God and to love God. This is what religion is, the re-linking process to come again to love of God. And love of God is the highest anyone can possibly attain. There's nothing higher than to be reinstated in actual practice and experience as an eternal servant of the Lord, and to be engaged blissfully in the Lord's service and the service of His servants. This is so much love, so much bliss. And it gets higher and higher. There's no cap to it, by the way. More and more love keeps growing and growing. It's wonderful. Simply wonderful. All right. Well, I don't think we're going to be able to start with the desire book today. I talked too much. Oops. But kept it concise. Okay, sin book all here. Next class would be desire. So let me pause it real fast. All right. So does anyone have any questions related to the class, the end of the sin book?
No question. I had a comment. I really like the analogy with the king. When you say you're serving the king when you never met him. I think a lot of people, they try to say, hey, you're doing this wrong, or hey, this is offensive when talking to people of different religions, except they don't really understand the true intention of what someone might be doing.
Oh, thank you. Definitely the mercy of God and Mother Atasha, because that just came out of nowhere. that king analogy, and it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? How can you say you're serving someone who you don't even are in touch with? You have no contact with, right? First, you must purify yourself, spiritualize your senses before you can behold and hear and see God. So yeah, there's a lot of people like that. Who do a lot of nonsense. Oh my gosh. Especially people who are religious leaders who do lots of awful actions, say this is God's will. We are doing God's will here. This is terrible. They commit murder, genocide, rape, plunder, war. This is in the name of God. And say we are doing God's will. They're just serving themselves. They have no contact with the divine, because they're so covered over. They're still in ignorance. They don't have those pure qualities. There's actual qualities of a devotee of God, and you know what? I think I might actually just share it here. Why not? So there are 26 qualities of a devotee of God. So if you want to know what someone is like, for example, in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Arjuna, he asked Lord Krishna, what are the symptoms of one who is spiritually realized? Who is someone who I can learn? Because Krishna says to Arjuna, approach a spiritual master. When Arjuna seeks knowledge, seeks purification of his heart, his first instruction is to seek a spiritual master. And that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to surrender and to serve a pure devotee of God. And it's in the loving service of a devotee of God that we become servants of God. Again, reinstated in a sense, right? So what are some of those qualities? I wasn't planning this, but if you guys want, I'll share this with you real fast. So these are 26 qualities of God as revealed in the scriptures. 1 is kind to everyone. 2, does not quarrel with anyone. Quarrel, doesn't fight with anybody. 4 is equal to everyone. 5 is faultless. 6, charitable. 7, mild. Mild. Yeah, they're mild or gentle. And they're clean, simple, benevolent, peaceful. Huh? Benevolent. Oh, how do I describe benevolent? The definition of benevolent would be kind, generous, and well-meaning with a desire to do good and help others. Okay, thank you, Google. Benevolent, peaceful, completely attached to God, has no material hankering. So many. You can already disqualify so many world religious leaders already. We're not even halfway through the list. So has no material hankering, is meek, is steady, is self-controlled, does not eat more than is required. They're sane, respectful, humble, grave, compassionate, friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. So these are some of the qualities of a 26 qualities of a devotee of God. Now, and you can imagine these people who say they do God's will. We are servants of God. Well, are they free from material hankering? Oh no, they're after money, they're after power, they're after followers. No. Are they self-controlled? Often not. Are they peaceful? Oh, they can be very violent. Are they equal to everyone? No, they treat others as differently. These are people of the same faith. Okay, you're not of our faith. Okay, you're not part of us and them. Right? The divisions. Pure devotee of God doesn't do that. They're equal to everyone. They're friend to everyone. So these 26 qualities, they're very lovely. Posted somewhere on the server. I'm glad you liked that, brother. Thanks for sharing your comment, Meet. Anyone else have a question?
You have to have all the devotee of God have to have all these qualities.
Does a devotee of God have to have all these qualities? You already have these qualities. In fact, these qualities are already inherent in everyone. They're inherent in you. They're inherent in me. They're inherent in every single living entity already has these qualities, because these are the natural qualities of the spirit soul. But we don't experience it because those qualities, our original consciousness, is covered by ignorance, by maya, by illusion, by shaitan, whatever you want to call it, by the material illusory energy. Just like how our mic right now is a little covered by some of this gangster rap over there. I hope you guys can still hear me. The neighbors are starting to throw down. So no, you don't have to have these qualities and say like, oh, if I don't have these qualities. No. You already have them. But for someone who's purified themselves, that these qualities are now shining through. That's how you can recognize one that, that's how these are the markers of one's purity of consciousness, purity of heart. When these signs, these qualities are manifest within their heart, and by their actions and their words and everything, they're actual living example. So, make sense? So if someone doesn't have all of these qualities manifest in them, which Mother Atasha did, I did witness these qualities, all of which in Mother Atasha, and I can even add more wonderful qualities, that are more common speak, like down to earth, great sense of humor, poetic. I thought poetic was one of these. Oh yes, yeah, poetic is, yeah, she was very poetic. Expert, she was great at everything she did, Silent, and the last one, silent, doesn't mean they never talk. No, that means they never talk nonsense. They're only speaking to glorify God or in a practical manner, not speaking nonsense, and that way they're silent. And oftentimes she was silent. Sometimes a spiritual master, a devotee God will just go quiet, and they'll just be inside their heart, especially if no one around can hear. So, anyone else have a question? You can type one too, Aaron, if you can't talk. I can check the Discord in case. Oh, we can just close it early. No worries. We normally would close by this time this time of day anyways, right? Daylight saving times mix things up a bit. You good? My wife? Aaron, Meet, y'all good? All clear? No questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron, why don't you send me an emoji or a thumbs up or something so I know you're still awake over there. I know for your time you've had to get up a little earlier, given the time zone difference in daylight saving times. Okay, he sent me a heart. That means love. Okay, he's good. All right then, well, thank you all for joining us. All glories to Mother Atasha, all glories to Religion of Love, all glories to the assembled devotees. Jai.